on the screen for the Zoom. Good morning, Africa. That's what I want to do next year. I am not going to waste much time. Those topics are clear. I don't know where the video is across there. They are displaying them. Display them so that people can hear, can see them, so that you mark the date, which topic. We have very many of them, so you choose which one you want to join and how you want to join. We shall be very happy to welcome you. This world is not my home, and therefore across the bridge, there is no worry and no sorrow. We are about to reach the bridge, and that bridge is there in 9 days. How prepared are you? What did you see on the African continent? Back to you, Miriam, in the studios for the news headlines. Then we kickstart us on this. Welcome to the show, Tawish. Wherever you were, I think the other time you were in the savannas of Africa, doing a very good ritual system, which we shall display here, of circumcision. You know, this is the time for circumcision in most of the parts of areas that circumcise. My area, we do circumcise, yes, on even year, like this one. Only even year, not odd year. Even year. 2023, we can't cut anybody. 2022, yes. 2020, yes. 2018, yes. Even here, the same to Maasai. Remember, the Maasais came from the mountain Elgon. The Maasais were the sons of Masava. And the Masava had several wives. One of them produced Maasai. Maasai came on leaving Mount Elgon. If you want the tree, Tawish, look for that the Maasai Masava tree. You will find that you came from Mount Elgon and you are looking for green pastures until you found yourselves being hit by the Ukambani area, where there was Makinon, who was coming on his way with the king of the Maasai, Lenana, and they had battles over the plains of this country, your country called Kenya. Thank you very much. That's the history. Those are the things you are, if you want to join our club, those are the things you are going to enjoy on our shows. Historical. People don't know. Lenana was a great warrior. People don't know Kabaka Mutesa, Mwanga, Chua, Suna. Yes. You see, people don't know Kabalika. The Mukamovan Kori, they don't know. People don't know Alimadi. The Alimadi Wars. Do you have a voice in Africa to know Alimadi Wars? Who was the leader of the Alimadi rebellion? Those are the things we are going to bring. And if you want to join us, if you want to be part of us, we are welcoming you to join us as a man, as a brother. We have no bad feelings for anybody, against anyone, anywhere on planet Earth. We enjoy the God's will. And I remember yesterday I gave you a story, Miriam, of you being together with Luke chapter 18. Just watch as we show. Thank you. Back to you in the studios in Nairobi. Luke chapter 18. What does it say? Be persistent. The widow who was persistent, he never gave up. I never give up until one day I realized the dream of a better Africa. God bless you. Those are all our films. You can see them. The Bold Step, The Voice of Africa, The Tough Questions. We have then the Africa Showdown. Then we have Agriculture Business. And then we have so many of them. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Back to you, Miriam.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll just take us through quickly the headlines this morning. The Daily Nation from Kenya, power women in Ruto State House. MPs give hope to Kenyans working in the Gulf. And IMF's tax plans usher in gloomy Christmas, and KCP results set to be released today. The Standard newspaper, brace for higher taxes to fund 3.6 trillion Kenya shillings budget, billions in cost for holidays. Azimio man got rooms for Cherera 4. And Christmas crackdown, drivers beware. And hustler dreams are shelved in Ruto's first 100 days. The Star newspaper, counties with acute shortage of teachers. Research has shown the learning is more effective when teachers have small classes. That story is on page 4 and 5. And family anguish as daughter admitted to Saudi Arabia hospital. And then we look at some of the regional newspapers. We start with those from Uganda. Surrender or die, Museveni tells rebels. And Daily Monitor also from Uganda. First Lady tasks to VP Premier spark queries. The Daily News from Zimbabwe, life gets worse for VP's ex-wife. And then Newsday also from Zimbabwe, government splashes $60 million on police. The Herald from Zimbabwe as well, we remain results oriented. That is according to President Mnangagwa. And 12 people die of COVID-19 this month. The Punch from Nigeria, reps order CBN to stay action, banks adamant. The Guardian also from Nigeria, new Naira notes yet to circulate amid fear of counterfeiting. The Nation from Nigeria as well, Tinubu unveils funding plan for infrastructure revolution. The New Times from Rwanda, Rwanda welcomes global deal to save species from extinction. And the Citizen from Tanzania, Samia, we will borrow as long as it's for our benefit. Pretoria News from South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa admits 2 mistakes. So that is what we have on some of the Kenyan newspapers and others from across the continent of Africa. You're muted. We can't hear you.
Asante sana. Miriam, the newspapers in Britain today show, I have not seen them, but the main headline, yes, they are here. Oh my God, you better watch out. And that is on the Metro, which is a free paper that flies through the trains and airports. And then we have how will they live with themselves if people die today? And as ambulance crews walk out of work, NHS bosses are so worried. They are warning all of us not to take any risks, raising the question. We are being told don't now try anything in Britain. Don't go out, don't go skiing. People have skied, even with this ice, people want to ski on ice, but when you break your hand, you are on your own. So you are being told, avoid some of those risky expenses. For me, one of the things that I cannot try, I don't know whether you have ever tried, is this ski, that thing that runs.
Skating.
You put it, skating, I cannot do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, there are some sports that I don't like in Africa, in the world. And one of them is that, boxing, rugby. I don't want to watch them. Because these are some of the things, someone comes to kill you. You know, he's hitting you to kill you. So it is very, very worrying in this situation. So thank you very much, Miriam. Then we go to our newspaper, and the next one is the Daily Mail, and that was the one I was reading. Then the Sun, don't use your car, don't go running, don't play sport, don't get drunk. That's the same, don't have fun during Christmas. Stay indoors because there is no doctor. Nurses, doctors, everybody have walked out. Very minimal. 1 or 2 people, you could wait, bleed at the emergency. Miriam, what do you think about that? Any comment? This is Britain, though. What do you think?
About the strike by the doctors, the health workers. Yeah. Well,
they are telling us, don't use your car, don't go running, don't play sport, don't get drunk, and don't think you'll be treated. They have told you. And you know, one of the good things, like here, like in your country, in Africa, Kenya, Uganda, where nobody tells you these things. You hear this, the nurses have gone. You reach the hospital, you wait when your patient dies while you are waiting there. Now, on this one, they have put it on television. Even they are saying, please avoid some of the things that you do during Christmas. Don't use your car. If possible, leave it at home, because it will kill people. It will kill you. You will be frozen. Ambulance will not come. Fire brigade will not come. They have paralyzed the whole city. Cities of, not city. You remember one city in London is bigger than Rwanda 200 times. 20 million people. No, 4 times. Because Rwanda is about 4 million people. 5 times. One city, one location, one county, one corridor, Slough, all those. Lambeth, a borough in London is a huge population. So it's the demands for health is Christmas. People who eat too much, they eat 2 turkeys. So if you get a bloated stomach, don't think there is a hospital to help you. Eat nicely. Hey, that is the warning. As nurses and the 999 crew fight to earn enough to pay their bills, PPE scandal peers Michelle phone money is on luxury break of 6,000 K a night hotel in Alps. Sickening. What? Yeah, Michelle Money is on luxury. Oh my God. You see? She's on luxury 6K, 6,000 pounds per night. Hotel. What type of sleep is that? Miriam, don't laugh. What type of sleep is that? Can you 6,000 pounds calculate in Kenya money? How much is that? Times 150.
It's a lot of money.
That's almost 1 million shillings per night. And the lady is staying there while the nurses are scrambling. They want a higher pay of just 2%, 3%. You are very stupid. Lakini Africa huko waambie president that you are stupid. The audience paka watakufi. They will throw you through the window. In fact, if the window is, you are like a ventilator. If you go to a conference and put up your hand and say, Mr. President, you see, your ideas are very naive. You are stupid in reasoning. Hey. They will die. They will pounce on you. Is there an African leader who can control that criticism? Any. But in Britain, they tell Mr. Boris Johnson, you are stupid. Very bad questions. And during question to answer, they ask very dangerous questions. They even find out whether you are celebrating with your wife while people are putting on masks. Did you remove a mask? In your bedroom, they will find you and you will resign. So the type of democracy that is here, Miriam, goes up to the bedroom. In Africa, it is very difficult. You don't know what happens in people's bedrooms. That's why Idi Amin was able to do witchcraft in the bedroom. You remember? plenty of witchcraft, and said he has now dreamt God came and arrived and told him to chase Asians away. Then he came again, he said, oh, the Asians are milking the cow. I dreamt the Asians were milking the Ugandan cow, big cow, but they were not giving the cow milk. You see? So these are some of the things, my dear sister, that we shall look at in our presentation this morning. And then the Daily Telegraph said unions have made a conscious choice to inflict harm on patients, says Barclay. What can we do? The army has started taking over in the United Kingdom at key points hospitals. From today, the army will be on key points to ambulances, to run ambulances. And that's why they are telling you, please, eat your turkey. Don't eat too many, eat only one turkey. Don't go from one place to another place. NHS bosses, the Guardian, urged the Prime Minister to intervene to avoid war of attrition on strikes. This is a winter of discontent. It might end up in tears. The prices are so high. £100 is like you have nothing in the pocket which you can buy. The Royal Daily Express said the Royal Fall Christmas Post disaster. The Royals are not speaking on one side. They are speaking. Thank you very much, and God bless you across the plains. Tawish, perhaps you come in and tell us your local news there.
Very well, thank you so much, Dr. Masanga from London Command Headquarters. Good morning also to Miriam Mugutu from our Communication Headquarters. And of course, our viewers who are watching this program in Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world. Indeed, it is my great pleasure to join you on this program this morning. And Dr. Masanga, just like you have alluded to, I am at our home place. Really, we have had a very nice, of course, a week in terms of the ceremonies. I think I'd hit to Dr. Masanga days ago that we are having a circumcision ceremony, and also what traditionally Maasai is calling Ngio. Ngio is when it's the eating of meat by people of the same age set. And I think that is one of the ceremonies we are having over here.
Tawish, don't make our saliva, man. In short, you are eating meat.
Absolutely, Dr.
Voila!
Yes, absolutely.
Why didn't you put me in one of? Why didn't you invite me? I would have flown in and come straight to where you are. You are eating meat. You know that meat of Maasai, which is put on leaves and then on fire and the branches, it comes out well. That's the meat you are eating?
Organic meat.
It is called what?
It's organic. The meat from Maasai cattle or any other animals is usually very distinct and sweet. When you eat it, it's very different from meats from other parts of the country. But what is the significance of that event, Tawish? Perhaps you could help us understand.
Tawish? Yes, go ahead. Tawish, the importance of that event, of that meeting. Oh, you have problems with network. Thank you very much. You'll join us later and tell us more. Miriam, bring us now on the subject. Let's hit each other on this one. What stood out for you? For me, first of all, let me tell you, ma'am, what stood out for me this end is very simple. The Dutch Prime Minister comes on national television after hundreds and hundreds of years and apologizes for slavery. Remember, the Dutch were one of the first people to practice slavery. You notice that you go to Holland, there are many colored people, blacks, that were taken out of South Africa. Some were taken out of South America. The Dutch still have colonies. Some were taken from Indonesia, those areas of Malaysia. The Dutch were one of those. They built their ships much earlier, and they started going across the world. So they have apologized for the slavery. But is the apology enough for Africa? Are they going to compensate, reparations? Are they going to do reparations? Are they going to reparate the people who have lost out of slave trade? This is the question. And these are the questions that we need to answer. On the Voice of Africa, I feel like today we must add the voice by calling upon the Dutch government to set up a fund that will rehabilitate the offsprings and the roots of the people where they got these guys, go back and build infrastructure in those areas. The Dutch government should not only end by only telling us, oh, we are sorry, we carried you slaves, we carried you from Africa, we carried you from... we want all countries across the world, those who came to Africa and took us as slaves, to come out and give us some reparations. The Voice of Africa says so. Thank you, Miriam, back to you. That's what I saw. Bring another one.
All right, thank you. I've seen Samuel Tawish has... Tawish, you've joined again. Can you hear me? Can you hear us? Okay, I think you're still struggling to... Go ahead.
Yes, Miriam, I can now hear you. I've just had some technical hitch.
Okay.
And,
yeah, but now you can hear us.
All right.
Yes, Miriam, I think I was just trying to... Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you go ahead and
explain
to us. What is the significance of the ceremony?
Miriam, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you clearly.
Okay.
The significance of the ceremony.
Well, Dr. Masanga and yes. What I was basically trying to say is that, well, the significance of the ceremony, one is a rite of passing in Kimasai, and one, it's about one age group to another, that now you...
We apologize for that.
Matured enough, and there are special parts in that particular...
I think, Tawish, we will let you go first. If you can just have a better connection, then you can join us back, because we are having a bit of a breakdown there that is affecting the rest of the show. So we will let you go for now.
It's that you...
Your connection is not good. After you fixed it, or maybe look for a better positioning, then we can have you back. Thank you so much. All right. All right, very well. So thank you. So, Doc...
I mean, people feast on those who are going to participate in that ceremony. And so...
Okay, fine. Miriam, let's start. Let's go.
Yes. Just the story, Doc, that you have brought up there of the Dutch, apologizing. And you've rightfully said that perhaps they should go further and do some reparation. I don't know if and that is necessary, but is that even enough? When you look at the damage that colonialism did in this continent, should we be pushing for more in terms of come and pay up some of these things and try and help out some of these communities that were adversely affected? But should we also try to look for better diplomatic standings with these countries, because as much as colonialism was over, this how they still look at us from this continent. Should we perhaps try to negotiate our terms and conditions in how we are going to relate to these countries moving forward from here in the continent, Doc? Because we still continue to have the shorter side of the stick.
Yes, but they have to begin, because then why are they apologizing now?
Mm-hmm. And that is a good step.
Yeah, why are they apologizing? They are apologizing now because they have seen that everybody is coming towards it. Every African is asking, why are we having a team, 19 players out of 21, all are blacks or half black, half French?
People of color, yes.
Yeah, yes, colored. Why? There must have been something that went wrong. So did you go to colonize these people, bring their people, where you took them away? The new scramble for Africa. It is so they took all the resources. The resources are now finished. They have come back. They are coming back through these apologies.
Yes.
So the Voice of Africa, like myself, we stand up on this program to say, no, wait, before you come back for the second one. The second, in South Africa, for example, they have tried to muzzle out Ramaphosa in order to wrestle him to get out of power, dismember, using a third force to dismember ANC, to remove ANC from power, and then they take over. But they have failed. So what did you do? Come up with, the Dutch have now come up. You know, they were the colonizers of South Africa. They have finally come up to say, oh, we are very sorry for the slave trade. Okay, fine, then give us the money. Our people built the dams, the dikes. Our people died. It is like a Qatar with the football. Now the football fanatism is over. We are settling ourselves in court. We want Qatar to tell us how many people died in those stadiums. Were they buried under? Where's the post-mortem? Why did you change the program from drinking beer on the day 2 days before the matches take off? When you got the contract on saying the beer will be drunk everywhere, all the time, throughout. Why didn't you tell us? So these are
what Belgium did earlier this year, when that charade of an event where they were returning the tooth of Patrice Lumumba. Before you know it, you'll hear Belgium is owning several mines there. So I don't know. And you've rightfully put it, it's the second scramble for Africa, and they're coming back, and they're seeing these other bigger powers jostling for positions and positioning themselves in these African countries. So they also want a piece of this cake from the continent. So I'm very suspicious of these apologies and why they're coming up at this point in time.
But Miriam, just be very honest. We have been crying for Patrice Lumumba to be found. We wanted him to be buried decently.
They brought the tooth.
For the last 62 years, Belgium has been keeping quiet. And yet they are the people who killed Patrice Lumumba. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Tshisekedi sneaks in with a dead bones that had been kept in a fridge, in a refrigerated. You know, that is not African. That is not African. How much did they compensate to the family of Patrice Lumumba? They agreed they killed him. You can't just simply do a small ceremony in a hotel in Kinshasa and you walk around with huge mass telling people that you are a president of Kinshasa. No way! Compensate Patrice Lumumba's family. We need people to talk about these things. We need decisive leaders on the continent of Africa. And I take this opportunity to wish a happy birthday to your president of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. Samoei Ruto, William Samoei Ruto, on his birthday. Is it, how many years are these? 52 or 53? Miriam, you'll tell me. Happy birthday, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, President William Samoei Ruto. If this message reaches you, sir, we wish you happy Christmas, happy birthday, combining all of those. But look for Africa, look at Africa. What do we want to get out of Africa? As you add on more years, as some of us go, we are at the sunset. Your Excellency, look at the flying, the star in the sky and defend Africa. Happy birthday, President Dr. William Samoei Ruto of Kenya.
Okay. Yes, indeed.
Has it surprised you?
No, he's the commander-in-chief.
A birthday is a birthday.
Yes.
Elections in Kenya are over.
Those were over. The country has moved.
We have a president in place.
Have a president.
We must give him the support.
Have a president.
Because
Have Hustler Fund.
yes,
a lot of
he's a president. There is no half president, full. There is always a full president.
Yes.
So that is it. That's what I keep on telling my Ugandan friends.
Unless you're Kagame, then Tshisekedi is half president or something like that. But anyway, we will move on from that.
No, that can be later on in criticism. But for now, the smooth transition,
yes.
No bloodshed, no fighting, no killing each other, that presidency still stands.
And that is
it can make mistakes, but people should look at it and a critic from the point of the mistakes that are being done. That's okay. That's no problem. But we don't look back. The people who released Hitler from prison regretted why they did later on. But for now, we don't have regrets. We don't have regrets. The presidency in Kenya, the country is moving on. This one president, that's it.
And I think
yes,
that is just one of the key headline events I think that happened in this continent, the smooth transition, peaceful transition in Kenya. I think it is one of the lessons that was being looked at by the rest of the world. So
yeah, Kevin, there's somebody by name Kevin. Is it Kevin or Kevin? Do you want to talk something or you are just listening, sir?
I'm just listening, sir.
Yeah, you can also talk from the background.
Okay, no issue.
Okay, you can talk. We are just wishing everybody, we are wishing the President of the Republic of Kenya a happy birthday. I personally, Dr. David Matsanga from London headquarters, I'm saying happy birthday to you. And happy birthday to you people as you celebrate your excellency. Your president is happy birthday. Thank you very much. Now, let's move on to another subject, Miriam. The question of, you said transition. A transition in Africa has happened. A peaceful one of the outstanding, one of the things that I feel Africans should know is the smooth transfer of power in Somalia. Miriam, give us a background there.
All right, so presidential elections were held in Somalia, and on the 15th of May 2022, the election was held indirectly, and after the elections for the House of the People, which began on the 1st of November 2021 and ended on 13th April 2022, after 3 rounds involving 38 candidates, parliamentary officials counted more than 165 votes in favor of Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, more than the number required to defeat the incumbent president. He was declared president in a peaceful transition of power after the incumbent president conceded defeat and congratulated the victor. So that is also a key highlight that happened in this year, peaceful transition.
Miriam, as we speak, I've sent the photographs of the meet that Tawish was talking about and pictures of Tawish himself. I think having been our presenter, I think Stephen can put these pictures.
They did.
That is the meet, the ceremony.
They already did.
You have done it, yes. That's the good meat. This is very good meat. It brings a lot of saliva, but let's go on with Somalia.
Yeah.
His policy was first, he wanted to talk to Al-Shabaab for them to come on a negotiating table. But when he saw the unwillingness of Al-Shabaab coming to table, he changed the strategy. He mobilized the people, the villages in central Somalia to start fighting and identifying Al-Shabaab themselves and sympathizers. So far, they have recovered several villages and several vast lands of central Somalia are being liberated, and Al-Shabaab is on the run. As they are on the run, they are increasing this pressure on the city Mogadishu. The daily bombings, the killings, the suicide bombers coming in to kill people at will is the sign that these are dying times of a liberation, any fighting force. When you see that your people got disarray and run into certain other places, it means it is about to be the Savimbi style of Angola. So are we seeing a new year changing things, tides in Somalia? Yes. The tides of village vigilantes, militia itself, creating itself into areas to protect themselves and helped by the Somalia army. That is a good progress that AU should have concentrated on and encouraged the locals to pick up and give intelligence to the people to find out the few individuals who are killing them day in, day out. That is a very good sign, Miriam. For me, I'm very, very pleased about the tidings. That is one of the things that stood out for me in Africa this year. Another thing that stood out for me in Africa this year, I don't know whether you have any comment on that one, Mr. Kevin Kihiu. You have any comment on Somalia, because you are also affected as a person in Africa? Do you want to comment or you still want to listen?
He's listening.
He's listening. Okay. This year, several coups, military coups too, happened in Africa, especially Central African and West African states. There were several military coups that overthrew presidents, and then another one came to overthrow. The one who overthrew, one of the most important one is the one of Mali. For me, it stood out, and the one of Burkina Faso, which now stands out as one of the most outstanding coups that has given the French marching orders to get out of Burkina Faso. What do we learn from these coups? The Voice of Africa says we need better governance. We need better situations where Africa is respected. But how do you respect Africa? Do we need to change the charter of the Organization of African Unity, which is now called African Union? Remember, Miriam, the Charter of African Union says non-interference in all political matters. Changed its charter into educating people on how and what is good governance, so that the military coups don't occur. Because most of these military coups occur because of bad governance, corruption, nepotism, cronyism, people stashing money abroad while the citizens are suffering. Remember, your country, Kenya, has now just got a loan of 55 billion from IMF. But it doesn't come nicely. It is coming with several strings. You must restructure the economy, retrench people, civil servants. We need more police. If you are just going to come to Africa and tell people, please get the police out of the road, or we need 10,000 police or 30,000 police by United Nations standards. But the IMF is telling us, is going to tell Africa that restructure, send away some civil servants, send away some teachers, schools must not be built, hospitals must not be extended, you must support the budget in this format. Are we free anymore, Miriam?
We're not entirely free, because a lot of these loans that we're having, they come with certain conditions that might not be in favor of the countries that are taking these loans. And I just go back to a question you just posed there earlier, perhaps if African Union can change its mandate. We know the principle of non-interference. The United Nations had to change that after the 1994 genocide in Rwanda, where the world looked in awe as these killings happened. The genocide happened in Rwanda. So after that, I think there was a conversation that was had and a resolution was passed and the principle of non-interference was changed. And I think also African Union, after it became from Organization of African Unity, once it changed to AU, I think they also had to introduce that. So the AU can actually intervene under humanitarian grounds. And we've seen a lot of countries in this continent that has conflict, that we've seen the catastrophic suffering of people, like what was happening in Ethiopia, like what is happening in the DRC. And so it has every mandate to go into these countries and ensure that the people are protected. But the African Union has failed to do that. Why? We don't know. But there is a clause that was passed there that actually allows African Union to intervene in a country on humanitarian grounds, but it chooses not to effect this part of its resolutions. I think that the big question is why.
I think they select which countries they can intervene.
Yeah.
Because, for example, African Union would have intervened in Chad. The president of Chad was assassinated by rebels that we know where they are, who trains them, who gives them money, who equips them in South Libya. They came, they attacked where the president was, they killed the president. African Union did not go so deep to condemn the killing of a president of a country, but instead was in a rush. It rushed quickly to install the son and keep the things under wrap and call for a peace dialogue in Qatar for these all rebel groups. Look at that. Why is it that African Union has not done it in Libya?
And also the fact that a military junta was the one who came to power immediately, and Chad was never suspended from African Union, as they did with Guinea, as they did with Sudan, as they did with Burkina Faso, as they did with Mali, when these coups happened. But Chad got a preferential treatment. So I think African Union acts on certain orders. I think at this point it's very obvious.
The orders come from Paris. We don't need to hide. I think time has come for us to speak out our minds as Africans, that we are really tired. The African Union has become a club of people who only become slaves. The other time we are taken as slaves, this time we have taken our slaves. We are taken forcefully, but this time we have taken ourselves willingly.
Yeah.
We beg this country. Today we are showing you, those are the things we want to laud every Wednesday. What is paining us in Africa? We are now being paid. Let's go on to another pain. I always introduce the headline and Miriam reads the details. Democratic Republic of Congo.
All right, the conflict. No, the Democratic Republic joining the EAC, also that is
EAC,
the
yes.
highlights.
They joined the East African community. Everybody was happy, thinking that we were going to trade and we would have a population of 300 million also that can consume the kimbo, the bran, the bread, the grain, the blue band, the soap, the sugar that is available in Nairobi industries. Little known to us was that we are going into a landmine that later on is about to blow us out.
But we did not say that here, Doc. We said the timing, as much as it's a good thing, but the timing was off for DRC joining the EAC. But it's here now.
Yeah, but there are several Congolese who think that it was not worth it joining East African community, because unless you see, unless you rearrange Congo, the dream of Congo DRC joining East African community will remain on paper. Yes, I'm being honest. If we are there, you can't feel, nobody in Congo will feel that they are in the East African community. First of all, the language alone, apart, the other Congolese of Kinshasa speak French. The other Congolese of near Uganda, Bunagana border, Rutshuru, Kisangani, Kivu, Lubumbashi, they speak Swahili. There are two categories of people in Congo. So until you rearrange Congo, one way or the other, the war will not end. Now the people who are bringing the war on Africa itself, the French, have come out condemning President Kagame and are saying President Kagame is the one funding, equipping, and logistically supplying the M23.
But France has been quiet all this time.
With guns. It is on record now. It's not a hearsay. It's not a rumor. So my show, the program, here you see the Voice of Africa. Our role every Wednesday is to talk from next year, to talk about the things that affect Africa and to point out the mistakes. And no African leader should threaten anybody, because this Africa is for all of us. We shall leave it here. We found it here. We might leave it here. All the presidents on the African continent are gone. Where is Idi Amin? Where is Nyerere? Where is Obote? Where is Jomo Kenyatta? Where is Kibaki? Where is Moi? Where is Nimeri? Where is Siadi Bare? Where is Gabriel Nasa? Where is Sekou Touré? Where is Baba Tafawa Balewa? Where is Patrice Lumumba? Where is Mandela? Where is Samora Machel? They are gone. They have left Africa in our hands. Yes. Where is Mkapa? He's gone. Where is Mwinyi? Those are the people who fought for this Africa to be recognized. And therefore, we have a say. We must talk about these facts. African leaders should not threaten people who are alerting them. The time has come to work for the population on the African continent. We cannot be called in the United States and be read a riot act like children. And then we come back in our planes quietly. You know, people came back quietly.
Happy that they had some deals.
Yeah, going was a big, let me tell you, Miriam, going to the US was a big bonanza. But now you have seen how, you know, how we Africans degrade ourselves. Coming back, we came back like a chicken that has fallen in cold water. I'm sorry. I'm the Voice of Africa. I speak my mind. All African leaders jetted in quietly because the expectations that they thought would happen there did not happen. These promises that you hear that US is going to do this, US is going to do this, it is only 2 years to election time. It will be a miracle for Joe Biden to win an election again in America. It will be a very big miracle. If the Republicans are very well organized with a very tough candidate from the Republicans, and once the Republicans take over power in America, the policy which we went for and the promises that we made will be reversed. You saw Mr. Trump came to power. He never wanted to talk to you, Miriam. He even called you Africans shithole. Some words that I can't repeat here more than that. It's very sorry. But I'm quoting him. He never wanted to listen to us at all. So another president in the US will not listen to us. They will want to do their own things. So for me, if I were an African president who went to America, I should ask them now, by January 2nd, 3rd, we have started. Can you come tell us where is the money now? Where is the money? That's the difference between it has been done. Go to Uganda, Entebbe, it has been done. Go to Zambia, it has been done. I've been to Lusaka. The road was so bad those days. When we used to go there to meet Kaunda, and when Dr. Milton Obote was still alive in the 1970s and 80s, we used to travel to Lusaka to meet him. The road was as narrow, you dodge a car, you dodge this, you dodge this. Go to Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. Go there and see. Go to Mombasa, your place. The roads have been done by Chinese. Go to this city that sinks every time. The one when rain comes, Lagos. The roads have been done. The Chinese come with their money and put it on the ground. So who else is going to wait for LC paperwork to be signed? People are not interested in the paperwork. The Americans give the money, but they follow to teach you. They want to know how you look like in the hotel, interview you as if you are going for hostess job. Do you look nice, tall, what? No. Chinese don't care who you are. They care on finishing the project, as long as you don't bring corruption in their project. You remember? The Minister for Economic Affairs of China was sentenced. So these are some of the things. Let's Africa understand that you have an African Union. What was the use of going there? It comes back to its African community. We brought in DRC Congo. What values are we getting out of DRC Congo since it came to its African community? We are getting a war. A war is coming. We have plugged in our troops. Kenya has sent in troops. The M23 has cut all supply routes into Goma. The Kenyan troops will be only receiving food by air, but you can't receive food by foot on ground. So what are we in for? Uganda is taking in troops in the pursuit of ADF rebels, Islamic fundamentalists who are in the territory of DRC Congo. If they are hitting them, they are capturing some of them, fine. So Congo needs one simple medicine. The West does not like the East. They will never meet. Instead of doing that, the Americans have now shifted their policy medium to Zambia. They opened up a listening post in Zambia. How do you open a base inland? A military base inland? I've never seen a military base inland, a landlocked country. So how will you fly in the people? Military bases are usually in the Philippines, in Djibouti. You put them in Mombasa, you can create a military base. In the bay, Lamu, near Lamu, there is a bay there with the Americans where you can anchor your ships and bring in your equipment that will help to save a country if it is under war. But you go internally, a landlocked country like Zambia that relies on Transamulele which is not working in some parts. Cows are grazing on it. So look at that, because the Chinese have withdrawn. But why did America go to Zambia? It went there because the Chinese had bought a factory, a copper mine, the Kitwe copper mines of Ndola. You remember Zambia was one of the biggest copper exporter in the world. So the Chinese bought it, put up a factory, it started producing copper. The Americans now have said, no, it's okay, it is working, but we want to have the supply chains.
and Doc, just to oppose there, I think there's a time we were having almost a similar conversation with Wanda, and he pointed out, if you could just look back and see from what years did China start prospering. It is the years that it started doing business in Africa and with Africa. Because
yes,
when you cite such examples, you see, even as much as we blame a country like France, we know it has developed under the backs of Africa. Even China, a key part of its development, if you just look slowly, Africa has played a huge role in its for where it is today.
Yeah, it has inflicted wounds on itself. We have a problem ourselves. We are here to be blamed. We have waited too long. We have been used too long. None of us has stood firm to say no, enough is enough. Now we are seeing it's becoming too late, and here we are. We have been caught up in catch-22. Our trousers are in the knees. You can't take it out. You can't bring it in. We are in a chaotic situation, Miriam. Africa needs to pull out its senses, get its senses back. Tshisekedi cannot meet Kagame. Kagame cannot be in a portrait. He walked out because he thinks they are dictator. There are people there whom we should not meet. You know, you summon all these leaders to that place. What do we do in Africa? What do we do? What can we do? What can bring us together? We have AU. The AU chairperson, who is the chairman, the AU chairman, who is Macky Sall, the president of Senegal, is the one who is supposed to stand there. But when you see Mahamat Faki also standing with presidents, and some presidents are like Buhari were put behind there, then you know that we have lost African Union. We don't know the use of African Union at the moment. I'm sorry to say that. Let's move on to another topic. If it is not Congo, it is Democratic Republic of Congo. Then the conflict in Congo, which we have touched already, the M23, France now is directly accusing
Rwanda.
Rwanda, Miriam, for being responsible for the atrocities that are being committed in Congo. What is your comment here?
I think France is being very hypocritical, and I talked about this matter here yesterday because France is still doing business with Rwanda. In fact, France in the EU, they just earlier this month, they passed to give Rwanda some money, about $21 million to help with Rwanda's troops in the peacekeeping mission in Cabo Delgado in northern Mozambique. And we know very well that the mission of Rwanda's soldiers in Cabo Delgado is to protect France's interest of Total Oil, which is there doing business. So France is being very hypocritical, as well as the United States. They've also issued such statements before. But President Joe Biden still invited Rwandan president to that Africa-US summit. If it was Mnangagwa, he would not have been invited. So I'm just, this hypocrisy coming from these Western powers, I think is just unnecessary, and France is being very hypocritical. France has been quiet all this time. So maybe there's a deal that has gone wrong between it and Rwanda, and that's why now they have a need to speak, because Tshisekedi also criticized when he was given an opportunity to speak during that summit, and he said, He commended the U.S. for being the only country that has been consistent in condemning, Rwanda for its support for M23. So I think that might have jolted France to now come out and issue this statement, which does not make any difference. You can't keep condemning Rwanda and you have credible information that Rwanda is supporting M23, as they have alluded, and take no action. That is, condemning is not enough. Put some sanctions, put some measures that can deter what is happening in the DRC. So this is just hot air, this condemnation that now France is giving, the US is giving. Outside of the condemnation, put in some actions that can actually change the trajectory of this unnecessary killings and suffering that is ongoing in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So for me, it's just hot air.
You are saying it is hot air.
Hot air, yo.
This word of hot air is becoming very official in Kenya. A hot air was used during your elections, so it has now become a hot air, as we can see. Miriam, you bring in a very important point here, and the point that you are bringing in is the hypocrisy of the French as far as condemnation of Rwanda is concerned. Are we in for a shock, a very big shock? For example, when you are condemning Rwanda, but at the same time you are the same one supplying Rwanda.
Supporting Rwanda.
Yes, you are supplying Rwanda with quite a lot of other materials. You are the one fronting Rwanda's policy in the EU for the protection of the oil fields and the hot gas spring wells in the Beira Triangle. You don't make any sense for me. Africa needs to wake up and say enough is enough. The biggest problem that the French have brought on Africa is that, look at the double standards. They go to Mr. Tshisekedi, they said, we shall help you. When they come to Rwanda, they are the ones propping Rwanda's foreign policy in Europe. Where is the truth? This war in Congo will not end. This conflict will not end. The only thing that you can do for Congo, if you want to save Congo and save war and money on the African continent, is to rearrange it. If Congo is not rearranged, we don't have any way forward. And I land my mic by saying rearrangement of Congo, like we did to Yugoslavia in Europe, is the only way that can form, because some of these people don't agree with each other at all. Each of them are on parallel lines. The movement is not there. Everybody is not moving along with somebody. All are moving in different directions. There is no way that tribes in the ethnic animosity that you see in DRC Congo can ever be healed. You can heal the one in Kenya between the Luo and the Kikuyu and the Kalenjin and the Kikuyu, but it is difficult to heal the one of Congo between the Manyamulenge, who speak more, who are connected more to Rwanda and Uganda than they are connected to the central government in Kinshasa. So it is up to you people in Africa to decide, do we keep Congo still bringing us problems every day? Or do we say, let's put the program on table, let's dismember it. Let's not dismember it, let's rearrange it. The arrangement of Congo will give good states living together, or create some form of autonomy, a federal autonomy, which can give provinces, but directed under one foreign policy and a military defense policy, that could now autonomously allow the regions to work with whoever they want to work with. Like in Nigeria, the governors in Nigeria strike deals, but they don't go and talk about Nigeria's foreign policy.
But you see, Doc, perhaps the difference that could be with that is because in Nigeria, I think it's very difficult to find a neighboring country which also want to have some influence inside Nigeria. If we set out for these regions to have autonomy, then there are some regions there that perhaps will be influenced by a few other countries across the region, so that they might be used to even cause more instability for the greater federal government if they decide that is the way they want to go. So,
but Miriam, Nigeria had several countries that had interest. Nigeria had the companies, oil companies like Shell, BP, Total Oil. They really have serious interest.
But they're not
in
from
realignment. That's why you see you see the Biafran War. The Biafran War is as a result of external. There are countries that want to create. There are people inside Nigeria that want to have Nigeria their own states, like a Biafra. The Biafran people of southeastern Nigeria, as we shall see today, are not part of what the federal government is doing. But perhaps that was an example, the way we lost. Can we change the tactics and use them maybe in Congo? It could be, tell me Kisangani is not connected to Kinshasa. Ngoma is not connected to Kinshasa except by air. You take 2 good hours flying into your own capital by a jumbo jet, self. Congo is 3 times bigger than Europe. 2 hours is from, the distance is like from here to Khartoum, Sudan, from Nairobi to Khartoum, where you are. So that's how big Congo is. So there's Kisangani to Kinshasa is about 2.5 hours. By flight, a big plane running over a territory, seeing trees down to land in Kinshasa. This is too big to be administered by one man who might, if he doesn't have skills of administering it, it can create us a lot of chaos. I submit.
All right, very well. So we move on to the Ethiopia peace deal, and that between the Ethiopian government and the Tigray People Liberation Front that was signed on the 2nd of November in South Africa, representing a critical first step towards ending the brutal two-year war. Cessation of hostilities agreement between the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and the Tigray Liberation Front. That is what that deal was termed as. The agreement marked an important step in efforts to silence the guns and provide a solid foundation for the preservation of Ethiopia's sovereignty and territorial integrity, the immediate cessation of hostilities, the resumption of unhindered humanitarian access, and the restoration of services, as well as healing and reconciliation. The rest seems to be going on well. Hapo kwa healing and reconciliation is something that perhaps they need to find a way to work through. But that also was one of the key highlights that stood out this year. At least the 2-year war finally came to a stop.
That is very good. It did come to a stop, but we still have more work to be done to bring it to a complete. You end the war, but you don't end the conflict. Those two, you can end the fighting, but the struggle to rehabilitate and reorganize, rearrange, demobilize is a very tough one. Therefore, I believe the mediators, His Excellency President, the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and General Olusegun Obasanjo, they will take up the few comments. They will take up the tasks of reintegrating and disarming most of the rebel groups, most of the troops, so that there is no clash again. There is no resurrection of any new wars in that country, Ethiopia. Thank you.
But there are still some conflict that is ongoing between the government forces and OLA that Abiy Ahmed has insisted he's not interested in having talks with them, but some members of parliament from the Oromia region were urging the Prime Minister to just listen, and just perhaps provide for an opportunity for him to listen to what these people are agitating for, so that to avert another unnecessary war like we've seen between the Ethiopian forces and the TPLF. So that is also still there with the Oromo Liberation Army. All right, so also something else that happened this year in November, the Federal High Court in Abuja adjourned indefinitely the trial of the lead of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, in the terrorism charges against him by the federal government. Justice Binta Nyako put off the trial at the instance of Kanu pending the resolution of the federal government's appeal against October 13th judgment of the Court of Appeal that discharged him from the terrorism charges. In October, the Court of Appeal in Abuja struck out the terrorism charges against Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, by the Nigerian government. The court struck out all the remaining 7 charges against Kanu as well. It followed an earlier ruling on the trial. Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja in April dismissing 8 of the 15 amended counts filed against him by the federal government. The court held that Mr. Kanu's extradition from Kenya in June 2021 to Nigeria without following the extradition rules was a flagrant violation of Nigeria's extradition treaty and a breach of the IPOB's leader fundamental human rights. The appellate court held the failure by the federal government to adequately respond to Mr. Kanu's arguments gave merit to the appeal. The court further said that the Federal High Court failed to examine the findings of the prosecution, as it would not have tried Mr. Kanu on the grounds that the IPOB leader was not illegally brought into the country. And of course, part of that ruling said that he should be released, but Mr. Kanu still remains in police custody in Nigeria.
Reading from what you have just said, the case was dismissed, but the Nigerian government did not bother looking at the rights of the courts making a decision. Therefore, they have stuck on Nnamdi Kanu. Is a political prisoner now for real, because if the court has released you and then the government grabs you and refuses to release you, you become a prisoner of conscience. We have written letters. We have told Buhari, asked General Buhari to release this man, but it seems General Buhari is not bothered. So the next step is for us to take further steps in courts outside Nigeria, where General Buhari goes for treatment. We'd like also to impound him in those hospitals so that he can finish his treatment while he's on hospital bed with guards guarding him under handcuffs. Thank you.
Okay, and further afield in global matters, also some things that stood out this year. I'll just mention them and then maybe you can pick which one you want to look at as we end the show. That was the death of Queen Elizabeth that happened on the 8th of September 2022. She died at the age of 96, ending her 70-year reign. She had died of old age, according to her death certificate, which was made public on the 29th of September. Her death was announced at around 6:30 British time. And also something else that stood out that happened this year on the global field is the Russian invasion in Ukraine, as well as the just concluded World Cup. So you can pick where to start as we end the show, Doc.
The death of Queen Elizabeth struck very many across the world. Struck me also, because the time I stepped in the United Kingdom in 1987, the Queen welcomed us as refugees who had come from Uganda, myself and many others who left Uganda. Her policies were very good, well documented. They allowed us education. They reintegrated us in the community. Some of us are here speaking with tools of analysis, able to understand what political science is, what international relations, what economics is, what is strategy management is. It is due to the Queen's endeavor to welcome almost everybody. Medium, I always keep on saying that if there is a country on earth which has everybody, a country on earth which has everybody, that country is United Kingdom. There is everybody. You find the Chinese, you find the Russians, you find every part of the world, Eskimo, all of them. There is nobody in the world, no country in the world that has those type of people. The type of every race is, you find it in the United Kingdom. And until it's good they chose the name Commonwealth. Indonesians, Iraqis, Iranians, everybody who has run away from persecution is found in United Kingdom. It's a country that welcomes almost everyone, gives them help, gives them security, gives them a new beginning. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the people of Britain for having given us all that we have today. For some of us, we owe you. We owe you quite a lot. We are indebted in your endeavors of having educated us, paid school fees, paid grants, which we still continue paying or we are paid back. That is, student loans. One of the things that can show you that you're a student in the United Kingdom is very simple. Your student number. You don't need to check anybody like you in Kenya. I saw you checking several certificates of people. No. In the UK, you take your student number. It means you took some money and you studied. It is one student number throughout. It is the one that can bring out your degrees, your number of degrees, your number of certificates, your number where you are now, because the student loan is already entered in the database. So that is your student number. So for me, I owe the people of Britain quite a lot of things in terms of everything, the knowledge that they have given me. I am impacting it to the world to make it a better country. So the loss of our Queen was really immense. It was a deep, dark day for us, some of us, and you saw the debates that characterized the burial, the way African heads of state, some people complaining. We are normal. We travel by bus and a train. If you are used to limousines, sorry, London is too small. It's an island. Limousines can only have access in countries like Uganda, Kenya, which are expansive, South Africa, big roads. There we have very little narrow roads. And therefore, putting you on a train or a combi to drop you in another destination is the best way that we can do. Thank you very much. That was my contribution. That's something that stood out also this year, the burial of Her Majesty, the late Queen Elizabeth, who died after attaining an age of 93, is it 93 or 94?
96.
96. So may her soul rest in peace. Her Majesty, you did a great for us. You made some of us have life. You put life, you gave us water, you gave us shelter when we didn't have. You gave us food when we needed it. May your soul rest in peace. But Your Excellency, Her Majesty, the late Queen Elizabeth. Thank you.
All right, and that is where we end our show. For today, we were looking at the year that was and what stood out in terms of the news making headlines from across Africa and indeed across the world, and the death of the Queen Elizabeth II was one of those things. We want to thank you so much for your patronage. Thank you so much for staying with us and being with us, and we hope that you enjoy the festivities, and we look forward to big and better things in the coming year. In the meantime, Dr. Matanga shall be keeping you company throughout the rest of the days remaining for this year, God willing. For me, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, and I will see you again sometimes earlier next year. Bye-bye for now. Doc, would you like to say something?
Yes, sir, of course. As first of all, I would like to thank the people of Africa for having listened to our television for the last 7 years. We have been online, we are still online television. We are the people who started this online television. And when we started it, everybody laughed at us. That what will an online television work? Where will it work? How will it work? But I want to tell you that 7 years today, we are still online, we operate online. We have used the latest technology to operate online. My staff in Kenya operate online. And I want to thank you so much, all of you, for all the courtesy, the patronage that you have had to watch our television. Our programs at times are tough programs, but they predicted the truth. There is no thing that we have predicted that has gone wrong. Most of the things of what we have talked about destabilization in Africa, they have come to pass. I think we have made strides towards enhancement, development, and towards the stability of Africa. On question of security, we have been very at the forefront to work, to want to have peace in Somalia, to have peace in DRC, Congo, in Libya, in Central African Republic, in Mozambique. We have been doing these programs. I want to take this opportunity that I will continue to be with you on live. And I want to thank Miriam for having been there. That she is, of course, taking a short break. I mean, I have eaten a lot of Christmas for 68 years. So I started eating when I was 5. No, when I was actually 6. The real Christmas is 6 years. When you can ask your mom to give you cook a turkey, give me turkey. By then in the villages it was rice, and the rice that is made out of charcoal, very good. And the rice was a special ingredient, a special food on a Christmas day with chicken boiled in banana leaves. And that chicken boiled in banana leaves, which even up to today in Uganda, when you go there, and I invite people to go to Uganda to see the miracles, especially when in Uganda, visit areas where they eat food and they do for you that chicken. Just wrapped in banana leaves and cooked very well. On a Christmas day like the one coming on Saturday, is it Saturday or Sunday? Sunday. It will be a fantastic day. You come from church. In fact, if you are not careful, when you are praying in church, you might be thinking of that food, and God might be watching you. For me, I'm very happy. Miriam, I'll stay live transmitting from London, and I'll keep you going. I'll always communicate until you return. I'll be online. I'm not moving. I am not giving up on my customers. We are online, therefore we shall use the same mechanisms that we use to broadcast every day until you return fully. But we shall meanwhile on Twitter space, we shall conduct a Twitter space to on Friday. On Monday evening at 9:15, we shall have a Twitter space of where we can discuss any African question. And then on the other days before 31st, I will have a show until 30th when I will take another break. But our pictures will be rolling, our videos, past performances will be there. I take this opportunity to thank you, and I would like to ask the production team there to put a very nice Christmas placard on our, send me a Facebook placard which I can put on for the people to know, and the timetable that we shall always be open, but we are here with you. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, all of you in Nairobi. Thank you, and keep it going until God we meet sometime. Thank you.